Today we're talking about delivering on your brand promise, from disappointing hotel stays to dangerous emergency breakdown situations. We'll explore what happens when brands fall short and how to close the gap between what you say and what you do. We're going to cover why a brand promise matters more than ever in leadership and business, what happens when there's a gap between the promise and the reality, and practical ways to build lasting trust by aligning marketing with delivery. Welcome to the Debrief Show, the show for leaders who want to bring out the best in themselves, their teams and their communications. I'm Dee Clayton, your host, a multi-award-winning executive coach and trainer. And with over a decade in marketing and communications for big brands, plus expertise in NLP, insights discovery and motivational maps, I blend all of this to help leaders show up with clarity, confidence and impact. Joining me for this episode is Justine Perry, founder and managing director of candid Marketing. With over 20 years in digital marketing, Justine helps clients align their brand promise with operational delivery to outperform competitors and drive sustainable growth online. As the founder of this multi-award-winning agency, candid Marketing, she's known for turning complexity into clarity and making sure that what she's promised is actually delivered.
Hi Dee, how are you?
I'm brilliant, thank you. So tell us about that RAC experience. What happened and why did it hit you so hard? As somebody that works with brands all the time, why did that kind of really get to you?
When brand promises break, it's rarely about one mistake. It's about trust, consistency, and how leaders ensure teams deliver what they promise.
It's an interesting one because as a marketer, I've worked with major brands and I've worked with lots of small businesses. And the disconnect for this particular brand, and I'm going to have to give them a name check, it is the RAC, because anyone who has seen my post on LinkedIn will know all about it. I had a most terrible experience, and it was such a disconnect between the brand that I thought I'd bought and the experience, the customer experience that I received, that just said to me that, you know, what is happening with companies and their brand promises right now. Do you want all the sorry details?
I would love a little précis of the sorry details. Yes, please.
Okay, so picture this. It's late on a Saturday night. I'm driving back from Norfolk to Hertfordshire, and I stop at the last available service station between where I'm driving from and driving to that will allow me to charge my EV. Now, it's the EV park is set behind a service station, so it's a very dark area, but it has got the lighting along the charging area. Charge the car, no problem at all. Get back in the car. Oh no, the car won't start. Absolutely nothing, completely lifeless. Now things go wrong, and I think this is my point about brands. People expect things to go wrong. Cars go wrong, computers go wrong, phones go wrong. But it's what happened next that, for me, really highlights this whole experience. Because I rang the RAC to report my problem. So this is about 9:30 at night. It is dark. I'm somewhere I don't know. I'm miles from home. And I've actually got a kid in the back, well, teenager. And it was like, oh my God, what do? We ring the RAC. They're all about complete peace of mind. Don't worry, they'll come out. And when I finally get through to them and navigate my way through their phone system, because I don't have the membership number with me, because it is company car. It's sort of, and the policy had come with the car because it's a new car. Once we'd finally tracked down the fact and confirmed the fact I was a member, and that did take a long time, so I'm feeling a little aggravated at this stage.
That shouldn't be that difficult, really, with a registration number, should it?
You'd like to think not, but anyway, I sort of finally have got this call logged at about 9:30 at night. And I say, I'm here on my own. I've got a child with me. Can you send someone as soon as you can? Yeah, no problem. The app will update. It will tell you, what's happening. So I think, okay, that's fine. And we sit there and, play cards in the car and, we're waiting. And I think, well, it gets to about 11:30 and I think, do you know what? It's getting really late and, the child wants to go to sleep, which is fair enough. And I'm thinking, I don't feel particularly safe here because I don't know where I am. So I check on the app and it then tells me that I can expect my a person to come out to see me at about between 1 and 4 a.m. So I'm thinking, now, again, this comes down to expectations and
Mm.
how we all have expectations of our brands. If my expectation, if I ring for assistance because my car has broken down, and given, I can be a member for however many years and never need their services, my expectation is they come
In
come
a
and get you and help
couple of
you.
hours, 2 hours, sort of. I don't know if they used to have a brand promise on time, and maybe that's where that's coming from. But I'm sure they used to say we'll get to you in a certain amount of time.
I'm not sure. But anyway, suffice to say, I rang them a few times and there was nothing happening. Anyway, by about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, can't be too precise on timings, I was losing the will to live at this stage, because obviously I have to stay awake because I've got to make sure that the child is protected. Because it's very dark there, and although the service station is 24 hours, obviously you can't go in and out of it, so no comfort breaks. You can't, it's a long time to be sitting in the car by the side of the road. So I then actually reached out to my brother, who I was very lucky came and saved me and gave us a lift home. I got home about 5 a.m. in the morning. And I was just so disappointed in the RAC and the lack of communication. They didn't even check that you were all right, and you're sitting there all that time.
They
and
could
they know
be
that
phoning you or texting you to say, "Are you still there? Is everything okay?"
Just something would have been nice.
Yeah.
I just felt very, very let down by the brand. A brand that was there to give me complete peace of mind actually gives me no peace of mind.
Yeah.
And it just, as a marketer, it just made me think, and a business owner, it made me think how important a brand promise is. And this was followed up. I posted about it on social media because I was so shocked at this huge disconnect that, and it was very interesting to see the conversation that followed on social media, and fair dues to the RAC. Their social media team were pretty quick to get in touch and say, could I send them some details so they could log a complaint for me. And funnily enough, I actually did that on my personal account on Facebook. I went over there and I dutifully logged my complaint, and then I got an email that said they would take my complaint very seriously, and they will seek to resolve it in, I think it's about 8 weeks. So
so that's quicker than you're actually getting your person to come and look at the car. You'll get your complaint dealt with before that.
I know. Well, the ridiculous thing is that the next day I woke up and I rang the RAC again after I'd finally had some sleep, and they said, "Oh yeah, we're not there yet." And I'm thinking,
so they thought you were
to sit there. How long was I supposed to sit there? And given that this all happened on Saturday night, the car was actually collected on the Monday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I had specified which dealership I wanted it taken to, and they didn't take it there. They took it somewhere else. So it was like inconvenience after inconvenience after inconvenience. And thanks very much for my complaint, and we'll let you know in 8 weeks. I don't know what they're going to let me know in 8 weeks, but But as a consumer, obviously, I was so disappointed. And as a marketer, I was just like flabbergasted that you don't lead with, if you can't live up to it, if your business cannot live up to that, then make a different promise. Make one that you can keep. We will endeavour to answer the phone in 3 rings or something,
Exactly. And that's really what kind of got us talking about this topic, wasn't it? In that we went to an event together, and the marketing of the hotel said it was this luxury hotel, blah, blah, blah. And then when we got there, it was okay. If you'd booked it under an okay hotel, it would have been fine. But it wasn't fine compared to the marketing that painted it as this, that, and the other.
It was premium price. And again, when you're buying what you perceive to be luxury and you're paying a luxury price, again, I don't think in a luxury hotel, if it says it's going to have EV charging, sorry, we're back to EVs, but you really should state on your website or somewhere in the literature that actually it's only for Teslas and not for any other kind of car. I don't have a Tesla. I was most disappointed. And again, anxious that I had to then try and drive 20 miles to find an EV charging point. So I know the world doesn't revolve around EVs, but I mean, these things, the disconnect on that hotel where you paid a premium. I paid for an upgraded room, and given it was 35 degrees, thought I was quite right to expect that there was aircon in there, particularly seeing as there was an aircon unit. But apparently I hadn't upgraded enough. Nobody told me that, obviously, whilst I was booking it, that you had to go for the super duper upgrade in order to get the aircon to be switched on in your room.
But this is the disconnect between marketing and operations, because even that is fair enough. But what is annoying is that we got some very nice emails beforehand saying, did we want to upgrade to have a bottle of champagne, or did we want to upgrade to have a box of chocolates, or whatever else it is, or blah, blah, blah. But nobody sent me an email saying, did I want to upgrade to get some air conditioning, seeing as it is super hot, you know.
I would have bought it. I would have bought it. I love it. I expect in a full 5-star hotel, I expect the air conditioning. But
yeah.
I think what this is, it's like everybody has problems in their business from time to time. So look, I'm not saying that issues don't happen, because they do, and things break and things go wrong, and it's how it was dealt with. And you know, again, when I spoke to the hotel and just said, you know, I've got an air conditioning unit in my room and it's an upgraded room, but it's not switched on and it doesn't seem to switch on. Well, you didn't upgrade to the right package.
You didn't pay for an upgrade.
And it was like, well, I did upgrade, but yes, it's not the right package. Well, how am I supposed to know? So I mean, I think consumers are more demanding than ever. I think we all are. I know I am, and my expectations are high. And when I have low expectations and they're met, you don't mind, do you?
No.
You know, if you don't think, but if you think that you're treating yourself to a luxury, or if you're doing something for your peace of mind and security, you kind of expect the system to work the way it's supposed to, with the right kind of thing. I think what it highlights here is that trust is the real product, isn't it, really? Because you know, customers don't just buy your service, you know, a service or an item. They buy, I don't know, reliability and the reassurance that comes with it, or the quality or the luxury, and you know, and the feelings, the emotions that come with that. And I think a broken promise damages reputation more than a broken product, if I'm honest, because I don't have a problem with the fact that my car broke down. Cars break down. I have a problem with the way that the whole service structure worked, and the lack of care for an individual.
Yeah.
But so I think it's kind of emotional impact that drives the behaviour. Because you know, I'm disappointed. I was frustrated. And I feel a bit betrayed because I trusted something and actually it didn't live up to scratch.
Yeah.
But promises do shape expectations, don't they?
For leaders, trust is your true product. It's not just about what you sell, it's about how people feel when you don't deliver.
So let's put this back into the eyes of a leader then. So some leaders work in organisations that don't have big glossy marketing campaigns and big brochures saying, here's our brand promise, you know.
Yeah.
So let's assume we haven't got a big brand promise written out or in a glossy brochure. It still feels like every company has a brand promise, even if it's kind of hidden and not said.
I absolutely. I mean, every organisation has an implicit brand promise, hasn't it? It's actually defined by how the customers experience you, and not by what's, you know, written on the wall or sent on the bottom of an email or actually on the website or on the socials. There is this implicit brand promise, and it's coming back to, it's an emotional thing. It's what the customer, you know, it's how they feel about it. Silence doesn't mean absence, does it? Just because you haven't got a formal statement, the customer will still form an expectation based on their interactions, the marketing, your reputation, and everything else. And unspoken promises are just as powerful as spoken ones, of course. Because,
and if somebody was going to recommend you, what would they say about why they have recommended you? That's what they see your brand promise as, to some extent, isn't it?
The brand promise should sort of bridge between the values and the customer experience. It means that you are thinking holistically about your business, that actually, if everyone in your business is aware that this is what customers are expecting of us, then, you know, and buy into it. And I mean, and actually, as a business owner myself, it's hard. I think for the smaller businesses, even harder for the bigger businesses. If you spoke to someone who worked at NASA, you'd know that they're in the business of putting rockets in space, wouldn't you?
Exactly. I used to work for various organisations, and one of them used to do bids, and the bids were up here, and the chance of them ever delivering on those bids were down here. slightly unethical, I think. But there was 20, 30 years. By the time this person realised it didn't deliver, this person had retired and got their bonus. What do you think? Is it marketing? Is it operations? Is it something else completely different?
No, I think it's a mixture. We can't blame it all on marketing. And as an owner of a marketing agency, I wouldn't want to. If what they're doing is bringing the brand to life and telling the brand story, then customers have every right to buy into that, because that's actually what they should be doing. It's about over promising versus under delivering. So if we just use our hotel again as an example, it was promising us a luxury, and yet it could do with a good lick of paint. It could do with some carpet cleaning. It could, the staff were very surly with their customers. I mean, that's not a luxury hotel. So the marketing actually was showing the beautiful pictures and the beautiful facilities and everything else, and that's what we bought into with our hearts and minds. But actually the operations side of it was failing to sort of deliver the rest of that brand. In any company, each team will work, sometimes they will work in a silo, won't they? And they don't communicate with the other departments, and they need to. You need that interdepartmental communication to make sure that if marketing is setting an expectation, operations need to be able to deliver it, or say to marketing, that's not the case, that we can't offer that, or it's not as good as that. And it's just about joined up thinking, I think, and it's about everyday execution and consistency, isn't it? Because we might have got the hotel on a bad day, but actually the fact it needed a bit of redecoration even in what was the upgraded rooms, if the staff might have been absolutely wonderful, but plates in corridors and dirty washing left around and things like that, that's still not luxury. So you've got to have this everyday execution from all of the departments that are clubbing together, whether they're customer facing, non-customer facing. So if you'd have rung up to query your bill, what kind of experience would you have? Would it be a luxury experience? It's fair enough on the consumer to want and demand that, but it's also fair enough for the business to actually kind of manage expectations,
Yeah. And I'm wondering what sometimes drives that disconnect in communications between marketing and operations, or whoever it is that's delivering on the promise. It could be, engineering and marketing, or whoever it is that's doing the disconnect. Often what I see is different KPIs. So different departments are measured by different KPIs, and if those aren't aligned, so this goes right back up to board level, doesn't it? Really, they've got to agree, because otherwise each department is doing their best with what they've been targeted on. But if the targets don't match up, then they're not all working together towards the same thing, are they?
No, I think you're right. Perhaps the small business leaders that listen to the podcast, as well as the big ones, will really appreciate the fact that you've got to make sure that everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet. And that can be quite hard, because we live in a hybrid world. It's making sure that everybody is communicated with. And I would imagine, particularly when it's at scale and it's UK wide or it's worldwide, that that challenge is even greater. But actually, that's why keeping a brand promise simple makes it a bit easier, because actually everybody goes through an induction process in a company should actually be able to get it or understand what it is, and do their best to live by it. Because what, in the same way that products, cars break and computers break and phones break, even with the best service pledge in the world, things go wrong. They do it, but it's all about how you deal with that.
Tell us about a company that you do think does it really well, in your mind, does have a brand promise that is clear and communicated well.
I think my personal favourite is John Lewis, and I think everybody probably would, and a lot of people would say this, because never knowingly undersold, everybody gets it. Whether it's the service delivery, whether you're online, whether you're in the shop, as a consumer that you can expect a fair deal, and it's going to be good quality. It'll probably be really nicely wrapped as well, and you feel like you've done something really nice. It's one of those brands that leaves you feeling really good about it.
Consistency builds credibility. When your people live the promise, your customers feel it.
They probably over-deliver, actually, because it's not really a very sexy brand promise, is it? It's not really.
It's keeping it simple. Yeah, I think they've got a lot right. I think, whether that's because of the company structure, that the fact that all of their team buy into it, but it doesn't matter whether you go to, John Lewis in Oxford Street or I don't know, Edinburgh, you get that same experience. The delivery driver is helpful. It's just it's really well done all the way through. So that if you go to John Lewis, you're going to get a good experience. And do you know what? You also know that if something doesn't go right,
Mhm.
they'll sort it out for you quickly. I mean, I had a dishwasher delivered from John Lewis once, and it was a problem with it. So I rang them up. They came the next day. They took it away. They came back with a new one. It was sorted quickly and easily. I don't hold that against them because, as I say, things go wrong in life. Obviously I work in the service sector. Things aren't always going to go to plan. In fact, you're always being thrown curveballs.
But you can make people more loyal by sorting it out, can't you, quickly and effectively than if the complaint hadn't happened. I don't know if that's true, but somewhere I've heard about that in the distant past, that a disgruntled customer can become more loyal if you handle it well. So you've been on a little bit of a thinking spree with this brand promise idea, because it's kind of kicked you off into, hold on, these aren't the only people that do it. You actually see this around and about, people not holding up their brand promise as much as they could or over claiming. So you've put together a little ebook for people to help, haven't you? What can we do if we haven't got multi-million-pound marketing budgets, but what can the average person do to improve their brand promise?
We've done the ebook just as a useful resource for business leaders, just to make you think, reevaluate, and if it could be an area of your business where, obviously if you can increase your customer loyalty, then that's good for profit, that's good for the bottom line as well. So you can download that from our website. It's about auditing within your own business, though, the promise versus the reality. Are you living up to your customers' expectations? And and does it align with your marketing messaging? But a really good place to start is if you just go around your everyday touch points, phone calls, listening to some phone calls, have a look at the emails that are being sent. If you've got delivery drivers out, what kind of experience are they getting? We've all heard about the delivery drivers who just chuck the goods over the fence, but you've also heard about the delivery drivers who take such care and love as they give you the products. Ocado are very good for that. Their delivery drivers are a superb service on the doorstep, and it really shows that, again, you can really trust in their brand. Whether if you've got 3 people or 3,000 people or 30,000 people, whatever, you can do an audit and actually listen to what the customers are saying. Look at, if you've had complaints or if you've had feedback, if you've had negative reviews, actually have a look through that and see if there's any common threads. And is there a disconnect? I'm looking at it from the marketing angle. Do we need to adjust our marketing? Do we need to make sure that we're being honest and transparent with what we're saying to people as to what they can expect from our brand?
Mm-hmm. Because it's interesting, just a TV show popped into my mind then, I can't remember, but is it like CEO on the shop floor or some catchy title?
There is one, Back to the Shop Floor, yeah.
That's
absolutely.
it, yeah. It's that sort of thing that often senior leadership has so separated, not by choice, but just because they've got so much to do up here at the strategic level. They get a long way away from the shop floor, and most of the shop floor people, whoever that means for you, it might be telemarketers or the people who are at the coalface, they know what's going on, and if they feel safe enough, they tell you. They may not feel safe enough to do that, but so yes, listen to the customers, absolutely, and listen to the people on the shop floor. Go and get closer to them. We can all go to carryadmarketing.com and download that ebook and get some thinking caps on about what we can do about our explicit or implicit brand promise. That's fantastic. So Justine, if you had to sum up your own personal brand for Carryad Marketing, what would that be?
There you go, the $6 million question. We're in the digital marketing results game. So essentially, we are about helping our customers to outperform their competitors online. That is what we set out to do. But we do that with transparency and honesty, because like, as I say, in the service sector, you can't guarantee results, and anyone who says you can really shouldn't be doing so. Helping customers to outperform their competitors is what we're on a mission to do here.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Thank you, Justine. Is there anything that I really should have asked you about brand promise or about anything else that I haven't yet asked you?
I don't think so. Go away, download the ebook. It's free, and you'll just get some practical tips and things to think about for within your business that you can go away and use, that will hopefully help you align your brand promise with service delivery. Make sure that's shining through in your marketing.
Brilliant. It's been great talking to you today. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you again.
You too. Thanks,
Take
Dee.
care. Thanks for listening to the Debrief Show, and a big thank you to Justine Perry for joining us today. You'll find more information in the show notes, including the free resource from Justine on the brand promise gap. And of course, you can follow her on LinkedIn. If you'd like to catch more episodes, you'll find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And you can find us on YouTube. Follow Dee Clayton and look for the playlist, The Debrief Show. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please do share it with other colleagues and people that you think will really enjoy the show. We'd love to have some more people join us. And until next time, keep bringing out the best in yourself, your teams, and your communications.